up, y'all? Welcome back to Faded Truth. Before you do anything, hit that subscribe button. And today I got a female superstar on the show, Miss Riley Ray, a.k.a. Riley Rabbit over there.
Okay, thanks.
Hopping on in.
I did hop on in, too. I'm like, girl, I know I'm late. Hold on.
How you feeling?
I'm okay. I'm pretty tired. I had a long week, but I was really excited to come to the show to this today. I've been talking about it all day, so I was like, I gotta go to this podcast.
Yeah,
so I'm
you being
excited. Thanks
here.
for having me.
This show is sponsored by Royal Blunts. They
Oh,
sent me a
Royal
package,
Blunts.
so we're just
Thank
gonna
you.
fucking product review and
Now we're
roll
about
shit
to
up.
get faded.
I actually really love this crop top though, because I love crops. You know, I'm like, I can wear. I just love like
Those
comfy
are
shit
super
that I can just-
cute.
Okay, so you grew up in San Diego. You grew
I
up in
did.
the hood. You're the only white girl in the hood, right?
Yeah,
much?
definitely. It's a very black and Mexican neighborhood.
Okay. So I know that you said somebody told you that you were doing something that white people do, but you didn't know that white people do it. 'Cause you never been around white people. So what was it that like?
It's just something that people have always said to me. Oh, you do that? That's white people shit. And I'm like, I just find it so interesting because people around me did that, and I didn't grow up in a white neighborhood. So how is that white people shit? If you want to keep calling things black people shit or white people shit, then you're never gonna start closing like lines like that. Do you know what I mean? And I've even told my friends, I'm like, if you keep saying that's white people shit, you're just saying that stuff that you're not allowed to do. So stop saying that, because you can go do whatever you want. Growing up in my neighborhood, people would say that, like, oh, that's white people shit. That's like, okay, but do you want to go skydiving or not?
Right.
The only reason that you say that's white people shit is because, like, and I'm like bluntly honest about it, but like, the only reason that people say that is because you weren't allowed to at one point. You know what I'm saying? It's deeper than that. White people say that. At one point, black people were not allowed to go skydiving or skiing. They weren't allowed to do those things. So when you continue to keep saying things like that, you're just reiterating the fact that you're keeping yourself in like more of a slave mindset, because you're allowed to do those things. Like, go do them, live life. Like, it doesn't have to be black or white. You know what I mean? So that's one reason why I like wanted to start my show, is not only to open the eyes up to my adult industry, but open eyes up to people's like real truths and like how, you know what I mean? Like just people's stories and like where they come from. People don't realize how much their words will really manifest if they keep talking certain types of way. Like another thing I used to get a lot of shit for in my neighborhood is because in 11th, when I went from 11th to 12th grade, I got switched districts. So I ended up going to a more white school, right? Because I was at an all black, all Mexican school. And so when I switched, and I was like, I never really got in fights in my neighborhood. Everyone knew who I was. You know what I mean? It was the white girl around the corner. So when I switched, it was like they weren't ready for my personality. And they were like, why do you think you black? Oh, you talk black. I'm like, what's talking black? I was like, because I have black friends that speak like educated. Is that what you mean?
That's the one when people used to be like, you talk white. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, can I just talk?
Like, but then you're putting yourself in a box of
Right.
like saying that only white people can be educated. Like, that's not true. Like, stop beating on people for the way they talk. Like, to me, I was normal. This is just how we talked. Like, I didn't understand that I was different until I went somewhere where I was faced with other white people. And they were like, whoa, you're different. And that was really when I was like, oh. Then I just had to learn, like, it wasn't a black or white thing. It was like a corporate street thing. And I just learned how to like master corporate world and then took it to the streets.
Yeah. Right. So I was going to ask, so you started working at a cell phone company. At this point, how old are you?
I got into the game at 27, and I had worked for that company for 5 years before that.
Okay.
So yeah.
So prior to doing the cell phone company, you were not in any type of sex work? Okay. So you're working at the cell phone company.
No, I was a dog groomer. I was a massage therapist. I was a medical assistant.
So the massage therapy, that's when it kind of, you started getting into like the
No,
first
actually
thing,
not even
or?
right away. You want this way?
Yeah.
Is it going this way? No, not even right away. I was very, very strict. Like, I'm a therapist. Don't ask me for shit else. No, it was just like this random, I hate working for somebody else thing. And I hated, like, I think it was just like, I was so tired of asking, was it okay if I went to my nephew's birthday? Like, and I was like, I really want to go this, and my fucking time got denied, even though I'd put it in like 2 months prior. And I was like, who the fuck? I was fat. I was unhappy. Like, I was drinking all the time because I was like getting off of work, getting drunk, partying. on my lunch break, I found myself actually going to the fucking bar and having drinks and shots with my coworkers. And I'm like,
Yeah. I definitely used to do that.
yeah. And I'm like, what for? Because we just had to get through the rest of the day. Like,
Yep.
corporate
We would
retail
use that
sales.
hour and we would just be like, all
I
right,
get
we got
smashed.
3 shots. We good. Go right
Man,
back.
I partied more when I worked for a corporate world than I ever did as a hoe. I, for real, would party even worse. So, but yeah, so I was working at Verizon and I was just like, woke up one day and I fucking had a panic attack. 27 years old, I had a full-on panic attack at work.
Is that the first time you had one?
Uh-huh. I didn't even realize I had one. I like locked myself in the inventory room and was like, just like couldn't breathe. And I was like crying and my heart was like racing. I walked out that day and never came back. I was like, I'm not going to be 27 years old having a panic attack. You got me fucked up. So then I went back to doing massage stuff because I had already had that skill.
Right.
And I get bills just started adding up. I was a very good sales rep. I made a lot of money. So massage therapy was not keeping up with the lifestyle that I built for myself. Like I was 24, 5 years old. I already bought my Beamer like straight out. Like I had like a 525. Like most people at that age, unless you're hoeing, can't just go rock out on a 525 brand new Beamer. You know what I mean? And just pay it off. Like I was doing very well. So the massage therapy shit just was not cracking. And you know, enough people offered me some money for some extra, and I'm like, oh, I never wanted to do that. And then when my friends was just like, yeah, just tell them it's, you know, an extra $100. And I'm like, there's no way someone's gonna give me $100 just to add on. Like, I was doing massages for like $65-$75 at the time. So extra $100 was a big deal back then. I'm like, what? I was gonna pay for that. So I was like, I'll give you $300. I'm like, whoa.
Do you remember your first man job that was paid for?
Yeah.
What was the dick
I remember
like?
all of them because I won't smoke or drink with clients. I never did. I have like maybe like 2 or 3 that I've been seeing for a couple years, but I normally won't smoke or drink with them. So I remember everybody I seen.
Okay, so you're doing rub and tugs now. You're trying to make up for that money, right?
Yeah.
And then when do you get into the pimping?
That is somebody I had met through mutual friends. And I had already knew who he was because of my neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like he had a big name in my neighborhood. His goddad is pimping, what's his name? Magic Don Juan. The dude that's like in all like the videos and movies. Like he's gonna come do the podcast when I come to LA. Like Bishop was like really part of our family for a minute. So I definitely knew who he was. And he was I met him as a friend. And it was just, I came there one day, I was like, what would you do if you were like, had this empty like person that you could just build? Like, what would you do with me? And he gave me like, this is what I would do with you. And I thought about it for like a week or 2. And I was like, fuck it, let's do it. What do we got to do? So I was like, I just had this thing. Like I'd always tell people like, I never wanted to be basic. And like working for that company, I was going down a basic ass lifestyle. And it was like scary to me. And it was like, I will never want to just be a basic. Like, I can't just be doing the same fucking thing every day over and over and over again. Me and him have a very good, like, respect for each other. I even went and did an interview with him through Soft White Underbelly, which is a big, like, YouTube channel.
Oh, did you?
I did an interview.
I've seen that on there. They had, like, different people.
He was on there, and then I wasn't, and so was his goddad, Michelle.
Wow.
We were all on there at different times, so... I mean, I still got much love for him. I just outgrew that situation. Do you know what I mean? Like, there was just other things for me to do. And I think that we both understood that there's just nothing that he could offer me anymore. And, like, I could tap out on what I could offer him because I was moving beyond him.
Right. You were elevating.
Yeah.
So what came first? Was it porn or camming after this?
So, actually, it was the Bunny Ranch. I worked at the Bunny Ranch for a while.
Okay.
Then it was stripping. And then it was just escorting because I fucking hated stripping. I don't know why people strip. Such a fucking waste of time. I hate it. But the camming thing, I never actually went full porn. I had like a few videos like I did with some exes and stuff like that. And I did some like girl stuff. But I've never done like full boy-girl porn. Then we just started doing the OnlyFans stuff. And the OnlyFans stuff kind of was working because my Instagram was blowing up. And people want to see Instagram models naked. So I just maximized on that.
So wait, tell me, how was fucking living at the Bunny Ranch? Like, what is this, the one that's right here in
There is one in Pahrump. This
Yeah.
is Bunny Ranch South. It used to be called Love Ranch. I don't know if they changed the name of it or not. But the Moonlight Bunny Ranch, like the original one, is in Reno. And that's the one that like got the whole thing started. But he owns like 10 ranches. There's like there's like the Sagebrush and Love, all these like other ones. But I worked at the original old school Moonlight Bunny Ranch.
I was listening. I was trying to listen to as many of your things as I could, but it was like a day in advance, you know. So you said something about like they ring the doorbell, and then everyone.
Yep.
Like,
and you're on like 13-hour shifts. So if a bell rings during that 13 hours, you have to be. You guys got a system?
You know what? I seriously do need like a pulley thing. Like we gotta invent
like a
it.
clip.
That's gonna add to the list of inventions.
That's dope. What the hell was I talking about? Oh yeah, they ring a bell and you'd have to like. Didn't matter if you were dead sleep because they were gonna charge you if you didn't. Like you got a fee, like a fine if you didn't show it to line up.
So wait, what are you lining up for? People picking you?
Yeah.
Out the lineup?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's like a lineup of girls and everyone goes like this and they stand there and then you go, hi, I'm Riley. And then you do like this little pose. And then there's this thing it's called like dirty hustling. Like you can't do too much in a lineup. You have to be like, everyone has to have
You can't
even
fucking
playing.
showboat and shit?
Yeah, because there was this one girl that spoke Mandarin, but she was like this white ginger chick. She was cool as fuck.
But that was her thing to like make them
She
pick them?
kind of she thought she did some slick shit, but it's like people let her get away with it because they understood that like she spoke Mandarin. Like some Chinese guy comes in here, like they just let it go. But one girl tried to come in out of nowhere, and she had like a Sailor Moon outfit. She was a new girl. Like a Sailor Moon outfit. She gets in line. She doesn't speak Mandarin at all. But she goes, she gets in line. She's all, ni hao. And she does like this. And the ginger girl, she turns around. She looks at her. And she's like, she's dirty fucking hustling. She's like pissed off. She's like, that bitch. She know damn right she don't speak Mandarin. She was mad. Like she was coming for her. But I loved her. That girl was so dope. I'm pretty sure she got me really, really high one time. And it was a blast. I'm not normally into girls, but I had fun with her. She was a fun girl to like play with. When it comes to women, if I don't like have a complete energy vibe with you, like I'm not attracted on any level. Like I'm really not into girls like, oh, I love the woman body and it turns me on. That's not what it is. It's like usually I really vibe with somebody and we went through some shit and and then it kind of went there.
Do you like this rap? This is...
It's a little, what is that? Let's see.
Okay, so this is ganja berries, which was
strong.
from Royal Blunts. It's a goji berry, Tibetan variety of fruit that's indigenous to Asia. It's treasured for longevity and energy in Tibetan culture. So they've been eaten for generations in hopes of lasting longer.
So it's actually made out of that.
Yeah, so it's made from goji berries.
It's got a little kick to it.
It's free of tobacco and nicotine. Love it.
Look at you. But I'm a pussy smoker. I'm not gonna lie. Like I like to smoke, but when I'm at home, I just hit my little pipe and like I don't like. I'm not usually into like raps. I'm just like papers only. But I'll tell you this because I talk so much that I was losing my voice all the time. So like I felt like I just want to stick on the papers and like pipes.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those raps though, like they hurt your throat.
That's why I switched to hemp wraps.
Yeah.
Because I can't, like, I was smoked blunts my whole life, and I was like, I want to smoke for the rest of my life, but not fuck my shit up. So
Yeah.
I had to switch to something. So that's why I like
So
finding, like,
that's
random
cool,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
These are cool that they're not tobacco. Because I'm not a tobacco smoker. So I just refuse to smoke anything that has tobacco in it.
Okay, so how'd you get your name?
My first P gave me that name. So, well, I added the rabbit later. The Riley Ray, though, was definitely, he just gave it to me. He's like, we were sitting there one day. We were literally about to post a back page ad, like my first back page ad. And it was like him and my wifey, this girl named Mimi. And like the whole world knows about it because it was in a fucking indictment. So we're like scrolling through and we're like looking for names. And like looking at, he's like, you need like a little cute country white girl name. He's like, you know, you thick, you look corn-fed, you look southern. Like, he's like, you need like a country corn-fed name. And I don't know why. I think, and then he was just like something like Miley or Kylie. And then we were like, I'm like, no. And I'm like, I like boy names that are girl names. And then he's like, Riley. And that's how we came up with it. And I posted an ad and I was at the studio or at the Yeah, Studio 6. Like an hour later. That's how that worked. It was pretty simple. The Rabbit, though, I switched it. That was basically just because I kept losing Instagram pages and there was just no more Riley Ray pages left.
Gotcha.
And like I was like,
I like the Riley Rabbit though, because then it goes with the podcast.
I love it so much more. And it kind of, there was like a pun for a while because people kept asking me how I got it and I was tired of explaining it. And so I just started telling people that I was like, that's because my parents are Roger and Jessica. And only like a few people would like get it. So, but now a lot of people think that that's how I got it because I kept saying that it's Roger. And because I'm like, if you were to take a white rabbit and a thick redhead, would she not be me? Like, and they were like, oh my God, yeah, it would be you. So I'm like, but that's not really why I came up with it. I just came up with a backstory to be interesting. I got tired of telling the real story.
Right.
There's not much people can't find out.
So it's not like, are you would it be considered adult industry or sex?
Yeah.
What is it called?
Sex worker or adult industry is usually the best way to describe it.
So what do you think is the biggest misconception about the industry itself?
That could also be like genre specific too, because there's misconceptions for like each kind of like a stripper or a escort or like that. So as an adult industry as a whole, I would say that the misconception is, I've talked about this in my podcast, the difference between sex workers and sex trafficked. We're talking about adult people. I think there's a big misconception that we're all just like little victim crackheads who like had somebody beat or molest us and like we must be broken in order to be an adult worker. And I think that's like as in any of those niches, like that's probably the biggest misconception. Daddy issues, or you know, your mom was a hoe, or you know, just there's just so many misconceptions. Like the first thing that they asked me when I was on this interview in Soft White Underbelly was, how was your childhood? Like, it's like there has to be something wrong with you if you want to be an adult industry worker. Like, nah, how about I'm just a badass bitch? I got a bomb ass body and people like to pay for it and I don't like to sell it. Like, why does that have to be like, there's something wrong with me for me to like be in this world? And that's the biggest misconception, because I know so many dope ass people that are in this industry, from street walking hoes to fucking high class prostitutes or escorts or like porn stars to like swingers, just everything. Like, I know so many dope ass people and like their sexuality has nothing to do with their character. And like, I feel like that's the one thing that I would like, wish I could change about people.
So you're saying you had no trauma that would bring you to getting into the sex industry at all? Okay.
No. I don't think, because let me tell you why. Because I know people who've had similar trauma that have never been in the adult industry. I know people who have worse trauma who are not in the adult industry. I know people who I have people who do have that problem who are in the adult industry. There's going to be on both sides. There's some people who are just teachers who have been molested and raped. There's people who are judges who have been molested and raped. I don't feel like that is what dictates somebody. I think that person's going to go down the walk of life that they're going to go down regardless. Because I know people who have very similar backgrounds, childs, and upbringing to me, and they went a whole different way.
Right.
So how do you explain that I'm doing this because there was some kind of trauma? If I know someone who was at the same trauma who's a doctor. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I think that some people are just really made for this shit. You okay, Vic?
Shout out to Vic.
You're kind of close to the
those
mic.
goji berries are hitting.
We just cool, man. Like I said, I know both. I've known girls who never been raped or molested, left the game and got raped. There's a problem with the way people treat women, regardless of what kind of clothes they have on or what they do for a living. The problem is not what we're doing. The problem is how people are treating women as a whole. Like 80% of girls have experienced some kind of molestation in their life.
It's crazy.
So how are you saying that molestation is making every girl be a sex worker?
Right.
Because there's a lot more women in the world who got molested than there are sex workers. Both my parents were there. I mean, like, I'll be honest, I was raised by somebody else who was not my dad. You know what I mean? But I had the perfect dad. My dad was better than most people's, like, real dads. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was what it is. Like we went camping. Like, yes, I grew up in the hood, but we also went camping, and my mom took us to the rodeos. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I had so much going on. Like,
I can definitely see you at a rodeo.
I love rodeos. Like, okay, so you have to understand, my mom was super, super country western. My dad was like rock, reggae, grew up in the same neighborhood I grew up in. So he's like the third generation there. And so like, we're just like living, like we got to experience so much. Do you know what I mean? Like, cause we're living in the hood, experiencing like Hispanic culture and like that upbringing, that's those structures in their family. And then like black families, how everything is so different. And then we still get to go to rodeos and go camping. Got to live the best fucking childhood ever.
Yeah, you got all of it.
But I like to be a boss about my own body. It's the same reason I left the corporate world. I wasn't about to have somebody tell me what the fuck to do. But I had a great upbringing. I would not have changed my life at all.
Okay, so how do we get into down the rabbit hole with the podcast?
Because this feeling right now, I wanted other people to get there. I wanted other people to not give a fuck. And I wanted to like rehumanize for the same reason you just asked me, like, what's your misconception in your industry? That's the reason I started my podcast. Just to be like, hey guys, like we're all just humans trying to figure it out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's all it is. So come tell your fucking story, and you can just be honest and be like authentic and raw, and like there's a platform and there's an audience of people who want to celebrate that with you.
Right.
Because you'd be surprised the type of people that are hitting my DM talking about, I love your fucking show.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, more than I even realized. Like, I had my first fangirl moment at a cosplay recently. She was shaking. She was so excited to see me. And it was like, I don't think it was me. I think it was just like she felt like she could connect like on a thing where like people were like-minded with her, and like she could feel like them through my show. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, super high moment.
I'm fucking ripped over here. It's good.
So like, but she was so excited to see me, and I almost wanted to cry. I was like, why are you so excited to see me? She was like, I just really like, I love that you're so real. And like, I think that this is just a time, and that's probably why you're doing so good as well. It's like, people are tired of the fake shit. Like, right. They just want to be real.
That's why I started, because I was like, not many people like just keep it real, you know? And I was like, let's just get fucked up, talk about it, and like, who gives a fuck?
If you don't like it, change the channel.
Right. So who's somebody that you want to have on in the future?
On the show?
Yeah.
Like my ultimate? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good question. I never even thought about that. I know Victor's. So as far as my industry goes, I'll tell you, like, top girls you always want to have on, you know, like the Amber Rose, because the slut walk, you know, like she was a big person, a big voice in the world for just women. I would love, Cardi's not always my style when it comes to music, but the fact that she was in the game first and she's so raw and real, Cardi would definitely be, I feel like she opened the door for her. Well, it was kind of her and Megan. They both kind of were doing it. And girls like Amber, all them girls, like they opened the door for people like us who were in the game to now step into more corporate business and like own ourselves as a boss, like as a female. Do you know what I mean? So I think they kind of opened that door. And even if they did have men on their team, they, you know, that's their brand. That's what they built. And we wouldn't have been able to do that 10 years ago. A girl coming out of the game as a hoe, like your next step was porn or like a lowrider magazine. It's very rare to like have girls from the sex industry, like have that type of celebrity. So I feel like those two girls would be big for that for me. Just as far as like getting them on my show for the reason I got on the show.
We got to manifest it.
Cardi, I'm coming for that ass. There's some people on your team that like to spend money, so we have to call in some.
How many episodes you done so far?
What are we at? 32.
Okay, what's your favorite one so far?
Oh, I don't know. Okay, Katie was fun. I like Katie. Katie's just a blast, and we did like a little game show first. So, and she gave out some like cool advice. You had to go. You know, honestly, the one that I felt the deepest for was Johnny Hill. Johnny Hill was a dope interview, and it came so like left field. I wasn't ready for it. Like, and he kind of hit my tear strings a little bit too. He was the bisexual porn star. He was like a white guy, And he was like, man, I went down the rabbit hole deep today. Like I wasn't expecting to go that deep. Like he just like opened up, and it was a dope story. And like
Yeah,
I just
think
like
I saw that when I was
I haven't actually
scrolling,
talked
too.
to him. I should call him. I didn't give him my. Yeah, he lives here in Vegas. He's a super cool guy, and he's like so like open as far as like his emotions, but he's still very masculine. You know what I mean? Like he's a good balance of that, like of what being like vulnerable as a man could be, but still being masculine at the same time. You know what I mean?
I love it. I love when they can do that.
He's a good balance of that, and like he's a good guy.
I'm doing that on Monday. I'm doing like a live mental health Monday, but I'm doing it with one of my guys I interviewed before that like just owns his shit and like doesn't give a fuck, and you know, so everyone can come on and listen to like how as men you can still have emotions and you're okay.
It's
like,
okay.
right.
Like it's okay. Like they gave you emotions when you were born, just like they gave you legs.
I didn't have them for a long time either, but I'm learning.
Just like they gave you legs, you were born with emotions. It's okay. You're still a human if you use them. It doesn't make
you know
any
why
less
though? Because
manly.
you're programmed when you're like a survivor, you're just programmed to not.
Oh, man, you're not.
Right, like
Yeah.
you're not supposed to have time to think about it because you're too busy worrying about what you're doing next.
I mean, that's how
you
I
know?
was raised on top of it. Like, I've
Right.
only become more emotional as I become an adult. Because I was younger, I had 3 blood brothers, and I had like an adopted brother that moved in with us. My dad, my mom was kind of in and out because she was trying to find herself. And I was just around guys all the time. So like, we didn't cry, we didn't have emotions, you know what I mean? Like, you fell out of a tree, you got up, you shook yourself, you kept moving. Like, I only as I've gotten older, I've gotten way more emotional.
Yeah, same.
But I'm like enjoying it. Not gonna lie. Is that weird?
No, it's not weird. Isn't it weird that you feel them though? Just like when you
Yeah.
first started feeling them, did it feel weird?
Yeah, because my only feeling I used to ever have was like angry. It's like angry. I'm either in a good mood or I'm angry, and I didn't have any other depth to that. It was like I was a true Aries back then. He doesn't believe in this shit, but when I listen to Victor,
That's why when I tell people, I'm like, no, I'm like really, like I'm really calmed down, and like, and they're like, really? I'm like, yeah.
how old are you now?
I'll be 32.
I love my 30s. Would you go back to your 20s if you could right now? Would you be like, poof, I'd be. I'm completely happy in my 30s.
Yeah.
No, once you like go over the threshold, there's like, oh my God, there's peace.
Because then you like look
here.
back and you're like, what the fuck was I doing for a decade? Fuck.
Where did all the money go? Which fucking money did I go through?
Yep.
Oh my God.
All right, so you was talking about open relationships and how you were okay with your man being in an open relationship, but you don't want to fuck the girl. You just don't want to know about it, right?
Yeah.
So what's your current, like, are you in an open relationship, like, or
Actually,
do you
just
still,
got out
do
of
you
a
still believe in
relationship.
them?
Yeah, I think. So you have to understand, like, people get on me about this, like, oh no, it's not as just like, oh, just go fuck whoever you want, whatever the fuck you want. You know what I mean? It's more like, if everything is good between us, everything's good, and you like happen to be going on like a vacation somewhere, and you hook up with someone on the random, am I gonna like just ruin everything we have because you got some booty on vacation, got your dick sucked? Probably not. Like, I'm like, we built too much to like let that happen. You know what I mean? And I don't really care. It doesn't bother me. As long as, to me, it's more, I'd rather actually someone go pay for pussy. Like, I want it to be transactional. It's just sex. Where a man lays his head and where a man spends his money and time and energy is more important to me than where the fuck his dick is. There are guys who are loyal and they're not fucking anybody, but like you're broke as fuck and you're not doing anything and you're like, you're living a miserable life. You're not happy, but oh, he's loyal. Like,
No.
nah, I'm cool. Like, I'd rather have my life.
That loyal shit don't pay nothing.
Loyal doesn't pay the bills. And like, if you're handling business, like, okay, king, go fuck who you want to fuck. I don't care as long as queen is taken care of. Like, don't be out here, like, and this is my other thing. I've said this on my show. Like, don't be out here with a fucked up ass home thinking it's okay to cheat. Because you shouldn't be cheating when shit's fucked up. You should put your energy into your relationship. But if everything's good at home and, you know, like I said, like, you know, you guys are away and some shit happens, like, whatever. But don't be having no side. I don't want no side girlfriends. Like, no, like, if you're going to spend time with somebody, it's going to be me. Because I don't give a fuck about where your dick is. I care where your energy is. That's, and because I'm an energy like absorber, like I need that energy. Like, okay, whatever.
You don't feel like it would just disrupt your energy in general?
No, for what?
I don't know.
I'm in control of my own energy.
True.
And once I've learned like how like, and I have to be like, and I fall back, like I just went through some bullshit recently that fucking took all the energy out of me, right? But I'm like, I had to wake up like, you're in control of your own energy. Like I have to get up and get it done. Like happiness is not a condition, it's a choice.
Mm-hmm. You gotta wake up and you can either be in a good mood or a bad mood, and then your day goes from there.
Yeah, and I'm like I said, so if you're putting all your energy into me and I'm happy, I could be blissfully ignorant. Go do what you want to do. I don't care. Just make sure you're home for dinner. Make sure you're here when I wake up.
Yeah, I still don't even know if I want an actual relationship, so I'm like...
I do. I definitely do. But I'm on a hiatus right now. I've literally gave myself this 1 year, no boyfriends, no man, you're focused on work. I'm about to sign a contract and hand it to Victor at this point. Like, no, I'm cool. Because they keep throwing me off my game because I'm so into like relationships. Like I want that really bad for myself at one point that I'll be like all the way in and then I lose focus. So I got to have a stable situation where I can't lose focus anymore.
I feel like it would just take focus off anything at this point for me. Like I'm just so laser, you know? So I'm like, but eventually I think that would be something I'd be like, all right, like... Because I don't want to have to like talk to you all the time. Like, is that fucked up? Like, I'm
the
on
thing
the shit,
is,
like,
if you're with the right person, you won't need to.
Right. So, like, if someone else wants to take your energy maybe half the week, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That way, like, we don't get tired of each other. I don't know.
So you'd be cool with, see, and some people are cool with that.
If the girl's hot, like, cool, but I don't eat pussy. So it's like, for me, like...
And I've even been in situations like that. It didn't really bother me. Because, like, as long as I was given my priority when I wanted it.
Right.
Like, don't be telling me, like, you can't come when I call, because then I'm gonna be fucking mad. Right. I mean, mad. Like, first of all, I let you do what the fuck you want. So if I call, like, can you please show up? Like, I don't get it. You can do whatever you want.
Right.
Like, if the worst thing someone can do is be like, yo, man, fucked me last night. And I'm like, okay, well, he was home in the morning. So it obviously wasn't too good, bitch. And, okay, so this is another thing, too, right? I was a sex worker for years, so it was very mechanical to me, right? Like I was working. So I'm at that point in my life that now that that's behind me, that I want the intimacy, and I can't do that if this other bitch is over here. You are sucking up all the air.
Right.
Get out. Why are you here? That don't even feel good. Like bitches though that don't fuck bitches always go straight for the nipples, and I hate it. Like I'm like, get out of here.
Sensitive ass nipples.
Yeah, they're really bad.
Did they change after you had them done?
No, they've always been this horrible.
Yeah, mine changed.
Did you lose it or you got it back?
I lost it.
I wish mine never came back.
Yeah, I
fucking hate it.
So what are you doing daily to keep your mental peace with all the shit you got going on?
Right now, I'm just literally trying not to cry. It's been a long week. It's been a long week. I'm so tired. No, I think having the right people in my life is definitely helped, because then I'm getting better at weeding them out sooner. I'll give them that, because there's definitely been some like people tugging at me, and normally I would have let that go for years. So now I'm getting better at cutting people off. So that's a good little peace of mind that I'm able like to recognize flags at a much sooner point in my life.
If you're getting more in tune with yourself, then like those people are gonna
and that's kind of what's been happening. I actually have been like, since this year, I've been like meditating more and like getting back to working out and like things where I take like longer walks. I just gotta find things that I liked.
Right.
Yeah. You just gotta fall in love with yourself again. And I'm like back at that point right now, trying to figure out what I like and what I'm doing.
That's awesome. So I'm happy that you're here at this point in your journey.
Thank you.
Yeah, because it's just gonna get better from here, right? Because then the more open you get, like the more good things are gonna start happening to you, and then everybody just weeds themselves out. That's just how it works.
And what's funny is like once you get rid of like the dead weight, how much you realize like there's all this like good shit that was like waiting for you. And we're like, we've been waiting for you to fucking act right. And it's like, oh my God.
You deserve it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, man, when you just cut it all off, you're just like, there's just like this eureka. Oh, you're like, man, were all these opportunities there the whole time? Like, what the fuck? And you just were overlooking them. It's crazy.
I'm happy though that we found it in our 30s and not like when we were older, you know, because some people never are going to get that feeling.
Yeah, for sure. Or it'll be too late and can't do anything about it. That's a blessing in itself.
Right.
that you found your eureka before it was too late.
It feels good.
Yeah. Can I get a little bumpy? Thanks.
Okay, do you have any shout outs you want to give?
I didn't prepare for
long?
shout outs.
Any shout out to everyone, y'all.
Well, shout out to you. Shout out to my mom. I love you. I do though, for real, because she definitely is gonna watch this. My mom is so team me. She's like, she puts 100. If she knows that I'm on your show, you're gonna get 100s from her in your DM all the time. So
That's
good.
her emoji.
Yeah, she's like 100. Huh? She does it to you now too. I love my mom.
My mom and dad be jumping on my live sometimes. I'm like, get the fuck off.
How
like,
awesome is that though? That you have parents that are like, I don't care that you're crazy. I love it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
my mom's like, well, after you start talking about dicks, I had to get off, and I'm like, all right, well.
My mom's there for it. She
I
doesn't
told you
care.
not to
She was
come
like,
on.
oh my God, you did what? Like, she's like, she'll tell me about comments, and I'm like, Mom, stop reading the comments. She gets all crazy. But yeah, definitely shout out to my show if you guys want to check it out. Like, my show's called Down the Rabbit Hole at downtherabbithole.tv on Instagram. On YouTube, it's youtube.com/downtherabbithole.tv. So that's what we're working on right there. My actual Instagram deletes every other 2 days. So
I was going to
just
ask
follow
you,
me.
why does it keep getting deleted?
I don't know if it's something I'm posting. I don't know if it's just haters. I don't know if it's bots. Like, I think it's there. I know girls in the industry that will like purposely try to get you deleted and like report your stuff. People are just miserable and they're mad that I'm happy. So the newest one is RileyRabbit.tv. Shout out to my boy G6 over here.
G6 in the building.
G6.
He looked like he was sleeping
plugged
for
this.
the last 45 minutes.
He's high as fuck. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because he connected us and got us going. And now we going to have you on my show, right?
Word. Down the rabbit hole. I'm excited.
She's about to go down this hole. So now you guys found out about me, so we're going to really dig into you next time.
Right.
Shout out to my business partner, Vic, over there. What's your Sir Victor? What's your Instagram? Sir Victor ENT. Check him out too because he got our lighting together for us too. He does dope ass production work.
Came in clutch.
Came in clutch, yep.
Shout out to Royal Blunts for hooking it up. I like the goji berries. We also got all these hemp wraps and just a lot. We got so many flavors.
I like the bag. I'm not gonna lie.
Huh?
I like the bag.
Yeah, I love these. They come in clutch at the pool.
Yeah. I mean, we're doing white people shit. Hey, it's your girl Riley Rabbit. Make sure you subscribe to Faded Truth right now and turn your notifications on too, because you need to see everything that she's doing.
All right, y'all. Until next time, peace.
Bye.
Swerving.